So, I have something I kind of want to talk about, and I think really it's something I actually might want to do well and use my film knowledge and things, my actual production. I know that I don't think you guys have ever seen it. I took film class and stuff. I know how to put a film together that's watchable. I wouldn't all have to be chaotic, like visual toothache. I just happen to like that style, but if I was presenting a better work. But anyway, the thing is this, like as I've told you guys, not that you care, but for some reason you listen, I like to write stories. I have done this my whole life. When I was really young, like 6, 7, 8, I wrote poems, and then I started writing stories around 10 or 11 or something. The middle of the street in the wrong way. That makes you cool and tough. Talking to your dude. Time to go surfing. They have surfboards anyway, actually. I didn't mean to slur surfboard people. They don't park in the middle of the street, not all of them. Just some of them, like those surfers back there. Okay. That's okay. It's a little neighborhood thing. I just drove around them. I could do that safely. If that's what you need to feel all cool when you're 17 in your hot rod car. Anyway, where was I? You guys distracted me. So yeah, I like to write stories to think things through. Ever since I was 10 or 12, I probably started writing, and I pretty much have always used it the same kind of way. Like I'd have an idea, like, yeah, what if, pumpkins were purple, and I write a story about with purple pumpkins or whatever. And it's gotten more sophisticated as I grew older and have political ideas and whatnot. I will write things to sort of project my experiences into a story world. And as I've also told you, I've been online debating philosophy since I was 13, I think, maybe 14. Like around 1983. So in my early 20s, I wrote this story that I've always worked on ever since, called The Philosophical Battleground. And it's the internet landscape and all the tribes in the internet landscape all jammed together in a little tiny area with a lot of battle. And a big part of my theme, for myself in this hobby, I think it's serious philosophy what I do, but I also, it's important to be self-effacing, to get a balance when you start thinking something's important that's just a hobby too. It's like, it's important to be good at tennis, but it's also just a hobby. Don't let it fuck your relationship up or whatever, right? So you got to do both. And so this story is a way of doing both, in that it's trivialized into a fictional account with comedic representations of certain groups. But it also takes it seriously because it pours over and over all the detail of these experiences. And a big theme, and I was about to say, is that, for me, the character, the protagonist that represents, in this case, me. It's not always so trivial, but in this case it was. I was young. He mostly sidesteps the bull. That's his basic thing, He's out there like me. He's taking photographs. He's interested in it. He's cataloging, like I am, all of the different fauna and flora, all the vicious creatures in the philosophical jungle. Only some people think of it as a battleground, it turns out. Not just him. But enough people think that, and there's so much wasteland and war in the history of this place that most people go ahead and call it the philosophical battlefield. But there is a vibrant subculture in the philosophical battleground that sees the process somewhat differently. So this is exactly what I think is going on right now with all of the stuff metaphorically that we do. And often it's like what happens is a lot of these people, if I get into something contentious, which you might not have noticed, but I have avoided the last few years things that I've already argued for years that are contentious. You're abortion, you're this, you're that, you're libertarianism. I mention them. I'm not going to forget or ignore those issues, but I avoid them. And now I'm talking about something like Zimmerman, for example, and it brings out this thing. It's this interesting phenomena. So here I am, I'm going, here's what I think, and here's why I think it. And then they run up to me with their axe, just out of the blue, people I don't know. Well, you're fucking fucktard, and try to cut my leg off. And so I go karate chop, kirk chop, and I knock them down onto the ground, immobilize them. I could have just decapitated them. They're not thankful. They're like, ow, my knee. Right? And I'm just having to pop these guys because they keep rushing me, keep trying to bum rush me. And they're like, you should be more careful, take more time. You didn't have to hurt my knee, you could have stomped my toe. And it's like, no, there's fucking 100 of you guys. If I'd stomp each one of your toes, I won't have time. If you come up one at a time, you know, but you guys are bum rushing me. I'm sorry, you're lucky, it's just your knee. I have right to go ahead and do the decapitation. And the battlefield rules. And these people end up going, no, Piero, obviously you're here for conquest and destruction. You're here to make us look like fools, and I could prove it because I just looked like a fool because you were here. Obviously, that's why you're here. Fire! And then they attack again, and then I drop them. They're like, see, that just proves our point. Luckily, I think the whole spectrum is fun. I don't mind the battles. They're just stupid.